This is why you do your home inspection.
In today's video, we're going to react to home inspector fails for new construction and home remodel homes. And I'll give you my input and my view as a flipper myself and as a home builder.
Come along for another framing inspection. Builder said it's ready for me. Let's see what it's got. Starting in the garage. So we have what's called king studs right here that carry the load of the header here. So these are very important ones. They're not like regular interior wall studs where there can be some minor discrepancies. These need to be perfect. There's a gap down here that needs to be eliminated. Looking at this strap, every one of these nail holes that's not over a strike plate or at the hole there needs to have a nail in it. I'd hate to have a house full of these. These studs are terrible. Take a look. This one's super bowed, tough to see on video. Look at this one. Got a gap bigger than my teeth. What about over here? Looks like somebody beat the crap out of that thing. Added a handful of other things to the inspection report here, but honestly, that wasn't too bad.
So I'm gonna agree, this is really not that bad of inspection. Yes, those load-bearing studs need to have full support, and that's probably the biggest concern, but everything else that I've seen is not that big a deal. Like those strike plates protecting the plumbing lines, he wants a nail in every single one. Honestly, it's overkill, seeing how many nails are already in there. Of course, it's best practice, but the chance of something going wrong, not having those extra nails, is about a 0.1% chance. Now, the interior studs being cracked and bowed, yes, the two ones they show me that are cracked, that's pretty bad. I probably would have changed those out if I'm building myself. But having bowed studs is very common. Wood does not come perfectly straight. Wood is a natural element, and a lot of times when you're building these starter homes and getting bulk builder grade studs, some of them are gonna have some curvature to them, especially if you're doing tall ceilings. If you're doing tall 12-foot ceilings with 12-foot studs, it's gonna be very hard to find perfectly straight studs. The longer the length, the harder it is to be perfectly straight. So I don't know how tall that ceiling was, but bowed studs is not a big deal if it's not too noticeable. I have some in my own personal home when I built it. Now, the cracked ones I would replace because those are some pretty big cracks. I've seen smaller hairline cracks, and those aren't really a big deal. But yes, definitely I would agree with him. It's really not that bad, this inspection. Now, if you want perfectly straight studs with no cracks, you can buy a higher lumber grade and a better material. Obviously, this will be more expensive. So if you're building your own personal home, make sure you request that with the builder up front and make sure that price is accounted for if you want a higher lumber grade. They're most likely going to try to get away with the cheapest lumber grade being the builder, unless you're doing a super fancy multi-million-dollar house. But even then, I've seen some builders cut corners on the studs. So if you're buying a starter home or anything priced under $800,000, you're going to see basic builder grade studs like that are going to have some bows and cracks in it. D.R. Horton, every big builder is going to use those studs. Now, if you're trying to do a high-end luxury home, you want to be more picky and make sure they use a higher grade lumber. So there's no context in this video, but it looks like that pipe is a waste vent pipe, and that needs to go all the way through the roof up into the open air. All your waste pipes and all your ventilation pipes all have to penetrate through the roof or the side into the exterior to vent properly. It seems like whoever built this let it just vent to the attic and that's it. And being in an enclosed space, all the moisture that goes in there is going to damage the wood and rot it and create mold.
That goes all the way down into the attic.
So this is clearly an older home, as you can tell by the condition of the shingles, and the roof jack being loose and the boot to cover it being open, as well as the hole in the shingles and the damaged shingles, all show signs of it being an old roof and it needs a roof replacement. So whoever's buying that home and looking at that inspection report, they should probably request for entire roof replacement or seller concession for the price of a roof replacement.
We're flippers. We don't need exterior grade doors when they're facing the south side. We're flippers. You don't need a fire rated door or even 3 hinges to support it. We're flippers. You don't need an anti-tip bracket. We're flippers. We don't give you a rigid vent because flexible is easier. We're flippers. We don't need to fit the flooring to the edge of the cabinet. The fridge is gonna block it anyway. Anyone for a swim? Why would you repair it when you could just paint it? We're flippers. We don't know how to install the straps for the water heater. We're flippers. We might remodel the whole freaking house, but we're not gonna change the filter.
Yes, unfortunately for flips, it's a lot more common to get these issues as they don't have the same strict regulations as new builds. Now, using an interior door for the exterior, that's a huge no-no. I agree, that's a big problem. Now, the fire-rated door, you can argue that is a grandfathered in home and they might not require it. A lot of cities don't if it's a remodel. It is an issue because all new builds require fire-rated doors for the garage entry. Now, the rest of the things you see are common lipstick on the pig items for a fix and flip. They're just trying to stay in budget and make a profit and get rid of the home. They just cut corners, or whoever they hire to do the work cut corners. So yeah, I agree. This one's pretty bad.
Well, just when you think you've seen it all, think again. One thing I actually really love about this job, inspecting homes, is you get to see all of the weird and creative things that humans can come up with. For example, like when I was looking at these kitchen cabinets, I thought, man, these have a striking resemblance to LVP flooring. And that is because they have come through and added LVP to the face of all the kitchen cabinetry and drawers, as you can see. I've never seen this done.
Wow. Oh my God. I've never seen something like that. That is absolutely crazy. Who came up with the idea to cover your cabinets with LVP floors? That is just hideous. Absolutely terrible and ugly design. However, as far as inspections go, that's not a safety concern. That's not damage that needs repair. That is just an ugly design choice. So technically, it's not something on inspection that a seller would be forced to fix because it's not something damaged or needs repair or is a safety hazard. It's just a super ugly design that they did. So, of course, you don't want to do it still because it's going to turn off buyers. They're not dumb. They're going to see it and it looks ugly. They're not going to buy the house. However, if you want to try to get new cabinets, go ahead and try, but the seller is not obligated to give you any concession just because they put floors on the cabinets. So the framer should have caught that before he finished the frame and should have adjusted it. However, I will say a lot of times, even with the architectural plans, stuff does not line up. I've had framers follow the plan exactly and it didn't line up exactly where a truss was going to go to where the pipes need to be. So there are still surprises even with architectural plans. So saying following plans to the T, that's great for the content, but there are times when there's just things that pop up that the plans don't account for. And one of those is in the framing stage. It's very common to see that. However, as the framer subcontractor is doing the framing, they should see that ahead of time when laying down the wood, looking at the frame, and be able to adjust and shift it over or fix the concrete before finishing the frame. This is just a lazy framing subcontractor that just went with a straight line and didn't bother to tell the owner or the builder what was the issue.
This is why you do your home inspection. Don't let no one convince you not to do a home inspection because the house may look pretty, everything's new, but some contractor might have cut a corner and then you deal with this. So now the wall's got to be busted back open. And guess what? This deal is done. Buyer is walking on this property and I don't blame them at all. So get your home inspections. Don't let your agent talk you out of it.
So this is just a lazy flipper because in all my fix and flips, once all the plumbing fixtures are installed, I turn everything on at the same time and leave it running for 15 minutes to check for leaks. Every shower faucet, every bathtub faucet, every sink faucet, everything is turned on and running. So the fact that this is only caught now during the home inspection on the resale just shows that the plumber or the flipper or the owner didn't do their proper checks when renovating the property. Yeah, that's just a bad flipper giving us a bad name.
It's a D.R. Horton house. I can do this everywhere. I was demonstrating that for the agent just now. Oops. Whoopsies!
Yes, one thing I do not get is why people put ceramic tile as a countertop. I've seen it in kitchen counters and bathroom sink counters like this video, and I never got it. Just use your regular granite, quartz, or marble. Or even Formica, to be honest. I do not understand people that put tile on countertops. Tile is for the floor or for the shower walls. And in this case, that tile is for the floors, not for a countertop. He says it's a D.R. Horton home, and I just can't imagine why they would put tile floor on a bathroom countertop. So yes, I've never done that in my life, and it looks horrendous and terrible. You should only use granite, quartz, marble, or some actual countertop material. It's stupid to put floor tile as a countertop. I don't know what D.R. Horton was thinking. So I always find this guy with the little toy hand super hilarious, just the way he moves it. But in this video, a lot of it is really just small items, and it looks like it's an older home just based on that siding, that vinyl siding. Yes, there's some damaged trim and damaged siding, very easy to replace. The cracked cover plates, super easy to replace. The housing for the light bulb on the ceiling fan, I mean, honestly, that's like 10 bucks at Lowe's or Home Depot to pop it on. All of it seems super easy. The only thing I would worry about is the water stains. On that ceiling tile, you can see that water stain outline at the very end. And I think the third part of the video, above the entry door, there's some paint peeling off, and that was due to water damage. Those two water intrusions would be my biggest concern, but everything else in this inspection is super cosmetic, and it's not going to cause any issues for your health or safety or any immediate urgent repairs. They're just minor things, to be honest.